go back into another lesson here. Happy Sunday, Sunday with Sifu. My name is Sifu Barber. I work with Six Monkey Martial Arts. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about a very powerful technique in Tai Shing called Gwa Choi. Gwa Choi is going to be one of the first moves you learn in the first form, which is called Tai Tong, which is the Grandmaster form. We can talk about that later. But this technique is more of a power, like a hammer fist. There's a big difference between axe fist and hammer fist. An axe fist is more of a cutting motion, right, where it's more of that quick recoil, and a hammer fist is more of a power through motion. Gwa Choi can be thrown both ways depending on what you're trying to do, right, as far as a two-man application, and we'll save that for our next video. So, Gwa Choi is done in a couple different ways. First, we're going to get in our tall monkey stance, so we're going to have our rear foot pointed forward, our front foot on a 45-degree angle. Our weight distribution is 60% of weight on the rear leg, 40% of weight on the front leg. Our hips and knees are going to be sunken in a little bit, so hips are bent back, knees are bent forward, right? You don't want to be stiff-legged. Our core is going to be tight, our chest and shoulders are going to be relaxed, elbows are going to be down, palms are going to be out a little bit farther away, more of like a long guard stance here, and chin's going to be tucked down looking at our opponent. So the first way, the hammer fist way of doing Gwa Choi, right, is going to be more of a slight pullback, right? So we're keeping our palm facing towards our opponent, and then we're going to make a fist, what they call a loose fist, so we're not tensing up just yet, okay? And then we're going to power in through, we're dropping our weight through our opponent, through whatever we're striking with. It's a punching bag, a pad, your partner, right? Obviously you're not trying to hurt anybody, but from a self-defense aspect, you're going to strike hard here, strike down and through, okay? We're coming all the way through, our hands traveling not almost past our body here, but right along that center line, but we're dropping our weight right as we get towards the impact point, right? So it'll be around this area here, around our chest areas where you want to keep the ideal impact point. We want to tighten up our fists as hard as we can and start dropping our weight. For us to drop our weight, we're talking about pushing our hips back, bringing our knees bend a little bit more, and using our feet to pull ourselves to the ground. It's okay if your rear heel comes off the ground a little bit because you're dropping real hard into that. That's the Gwa Choi hammer fist. So here, pull back, slight, loose fist, power through, come back up, back to guard, okay? Making sure that my stance is correct, and then we're going right back to our guard. Here, pull through, strike, okay? Now there's the axe fist version of this, and I'm being very brief with this. There's a lot more that we can get into as far as like meditations for axe fist, the hand conditioning. That's all a part of our MSTR program if you are interested. But the axe fist version is more of like a quick recoil. Almost like imagine that whatever you're striking is full of electricity. You don't want to get shocked, so you're pulling your hand back as fast as possible. It's the same technique as far as the form and the mechanics of it. So I'm pulling back through, and I never want to pull this all the way back. I don't want to come all the way back here, because one, you're not getting any extra power with that, and two, you're telegraphing your strike. So here we're going to pull back slightly, loosen the fist, right, loose fist, come through, and as I'm coming in, I'm going to tighten up, and I'm going to loose and come back. So it's going to be here. Now notice with this, I'm actually pivoting my body into the strike and pivoting out. So when I pull my arm out of this strike, it's not so much a pulling back with my shoulder, but I'm actually using my feet. So since my feet are turning me into my strike, I'm using my feet to turn my hip, to turn my upper body, to pull my arm back all at the same time. So here, pivot in, pull back. It's not as long, I'm not powering through, I'm not sinking down into it so much with my stance, as much as I am just powering through, hitting like almost like a whipping technique, like you're gonna crack a whip. Same principle, okay? I'm not telegraphing it, I'm not pulling it too far back. And you can practice this on both sides. You don't always want to use it on your rear hand or your lead hand. In general, in Tai Shing, your closest hand is going to be the closest thing you strike with. So closest hand to closest target. But you can do it off of either side. Okay? So if I was going to come here, hammer through, right? Power all the way through. If I want to do an axe fist from the rear side, that's fine as well. But notice when I'm doing the rear axe fist, I'm pivoting away instead of in. Right? So either way, I'm pivoting towards where I'm striking. So if I'm going to do an axe fist on the front hand, I'm going to pull back slightly, and I'm pivoting in to my strike, into whatever I'm striking. Same thing on the rear side here. Pivot in and then come back. Hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I know it's a short lesson. Just want to give a little bit more clarification because you're going to see that strike a lot in our forms that I'm going to be putting out here more often. But it's called Gwa Choi. It's an axe or hammer fist, and you can learn a lot about more of that from our website. Thank you. Please train safely and wisely, and we'll see you later.